Hello students, we're going to look at the solution to the first long answer or full solution question, number 12, part of your chapter 8 sample quiz at the end of book 3. So let's look at this one. In triangle PQR, find side P and side Q if angle P is 31 degrees, angle R is 90 degrees, and side R is 12 centimeters. Round your answer to the nearest tenth of a centimeter. Tenth, of course, we know is 1 decimal place. So our answers have to be 1 decimal place. Alright, now if your triangle is not drawn, you should draw it, of course, right? So that's the first thing we'll do. Let's draw a triangle. Now the triangle I'm going to draw is a right triangle. So just draw any right triangle and we'll fill in the sides and stuff after, right? So I'll just draw a very simple right triangle. There we go. Don't have to be fussy about that. Now, let's say this is my right angle. So that's the first thing you should label, your right angle. Now, which one is the right angle? It's angle R, so this has to be R. Now, opposite R, the way sides are labeled, are using the lowercase. So this is little r over here. Okay? So capital R, opposite is the little r side. So always opposite the angle, use the smaller letter. So this has to be R, and this is 12 centimeters. So it's 12. So we got that done. Now angle P is 31 degrees. It doesn't really matter where we put P. I'm going to put it here, P. So that's 31 degrees. Now what is opposite P, capital P, angle P, whatever you want to call it, is side little p. So this has to be little p, right? So if that's angle P up here, little p is opposite that. So this is little p. This only leaves one angle left, and it's Q, right? Because it's a triangle PQR. So that's Q, meaning this side over here is referred to as lowercase q, right? Always opposite the angle. Okay, so this is lowercase q. So now we got our triangle built, and obviously that's going to be worth some marks because you're asked to show this as well, or you're not asked to show it, but you're expected to show it. Okay, so let's move on now. And how do we find side P or side Q? So let's tackle side P first. So how do I do side P? Alright, well the first thing I do is decide what I'm going to use. Am I going to use the sine of an angle, which is opposite over hypotenuse? And you should know these by heart. Am I going to use cosine of an angle, which is adjacent over hypotenuse? Or will I use tangent of the angle, which is opposite over adjacent? So which one are you going to use? Now I see the 31 degrees here. I'm looking for side P, and side P according to 31 is opposite. So this would be the opposite side to 31 degrees. And I want to use 31 because I don't know Q. I can figure out Q, but let's use the 31. So this is the opposite side to 31. And the side I do know is this one here, of course, which is opposite the right angle, which is the hypotenuse, right? So the 12 side R would be the hypotenuse. So I want to use opposite and hypotenuse to find side P. So that, of course, picks what? Opposite and hypotenuse. There we go. So we want to use the sine ratio. So the sine, now the angle comes next, is always the sine of the angle. And the angle of this case is 31 degrees, is equal to the ratio of the opposite side, which we're looking for, which is side P, over the hypotenuse, which is 12 centimeters. And now it's a simple cross multiplication because this is understood to be over 1. So just cross multiply. P is equal to 12 times sine 31. Now we'll go to our calculator to do that. Now make sure your calculator is in degrees. So the first thing I'm going to check is my mode. And I'll look at the third line. It says radian or degree. Now the calculator often defaults to radian, so be careful. Check it, make sure it's in degrees. And it is in this case. Okay, so then it's just 12. Whoops, 12. Let's get 2 in there. Times the sine of 31 degrees. Enter. And that's 6.180 and da 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 da. Now remember, we're asked for 1 decimal place, so we have to round that properly. If it's 8 here, that means the 1 has to go up to 2, right? So it's 6.2. And were we given? Yes, we were given a unit of measurement, so side P is 6.2 centimeters. Alright, let's go ahead now and find side Q. Alright, if we want side Q, okay, using the 31 again, side Q, what would this side be according to 31? Well, we know P is opposite and R is the hypotenuse, so side Q would be known as the adjacent side for 31 degrees. Okay, so which one uses adjacent and hypotenuse? Yeah, we'll use cosine for the second one here. So the cosine of the angle, 31 degrees, is the adjacent side, which is Q, divided by the hypotenuse, which is 12. So again, cross multiply. Q is equal to 12 cosine of 31 degrees, and we do that on the calculator. 12 times the cosine of 31 degrees, and we get 10.28. Q is 10.286, and so on. Now we have to round to 1 decimal place, a tenth. So that means if that's 8, so the 2 goes up to a 3. So it's 10.3 centimeters. So there's the answer to the first long answer question on your sample quiz for Chapter 8.